Well, hello there. This is Diamond from Diamond Shine Soap. Guys, I'm excited to see you today. Today in the studio, we are going to make some mechanic soap. But before we do that, go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. All right. So, guys, what you see inside of this lovely bowl is my butters and my oils that we will be using today. That's olive oil, coconut oil, palm oil, or you can use vegetable shortening to replace that palm oil, okay? And here's my oils all melted down and ready for that live water, which you see right here to go on the inside. All right, so we're going to be using some pumice today. Also, we're going to be using some silicone molds in the shape of a cylinder, making it easy for a mechanic to just pick it up, use it, and put it right back on the side of the sink. All right, so go ahead and pour that lye into that lye water into that those oils and butters as they are fully melted and warm, making sure that you are soaping at 100 degrees or lower. That means that your lye need to be the same temperature as your oils and butters melted down. Okay, soaping very hot will mess your soap up. So if you don't want to waste no money, make sure you follow these instructions as they are important. All right, guys, listen, I do one-on-one coaching with candle makers just like you. That's also inside of the description box. That could be a new beginner or whatever. You know, I see you guys all. So go ahead and get your stick blender and start stick blending your soap. Listen, guys, don't bring it to a really thick trace. Just let it go for a few seconds and then stop, because you don't want it to get really thick where it be hard to pour inside of those molds. Okay, and that's what happened to me. You know, I had to end up kind of like taking a spatula and smoothing mine out. So don't stick blend it really long, just kind of stick blend it just so it can come together. But as you put the additives in it, you'll begin to stick blend it even more. So that is buttermilk powder that we will be using today, guys. I'm doing things to increase my lather and my soap, and one of those things is actually using castor oil. Castor oil is really good for increasing the lather. I love castor oil and soap. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and mix that all in, all around. And I'm going to begin to add some clay. Guys, I got a whole lot of additives, okay, but you know, I just chose just a few things for this recipe. All right, so that right there was some bentonite clay. You can just go through different clays and choose what you want. And then I'm putting 3 scoops of the pumice in there, and that is how we get our exfoliation, and this is how we get the name mechanic soap. Because if you think about that orange soap that you see at you know, those mechanic shops and places like that, it's pumice is inside the ingredients. Okay, and that's how you get that scrub. So when I put my finger on there, I can just kind of feel that grit, and I know that I used enough pumice. Please don't use a whole lot, because if you try to go over the amount that I recommend, guys, you'll mess the soap up. So, you know, 3 is enough. If you have the scooper, I will put that in ounces because I weighed it out just to see how much it weighed, okay? And so we're going to be using some orange mica. And one thing you're going to know about mica is not going to come out looking orange the way it's supposed to. For some reason, when it goes through like this whole transition with the soap, it just comes out another color. All right, so it starts out orange, then it just looked like rose clay. That's the only way I can describe it. Look just like rose clay. So you don't need to do a whole lot of stick blending. So that's when I realized that I wasn't going to do my next batch. So I'm just teaching you guys my mistake. I was like, it's just better just to mix it in, but to not stick blend until like the very end. Because once you put this fragrance in, it's going to accelerate and get thick on its own. Okay. All right, making it hard to really pour. I wanted my soap to be so straight and no little holes on the side or whatever. So I realized I really messed up. So I had poured my fragrance into there, and it definitely thickened up that batter. And I learned, but I'm teaching you. All right, so that's what's more important. All right, so I put a little bit more mica in there because I was like, you don't seem to be the color that I want you to be, but we're going to work with you anyway. All right. So as I'm doing this mixing, at the bottom of this bowl, guys, I feel all of the grit. Like I feel a lot of it. So I'm just like mixing it around to make sure it's suspended, and that when we pour it into the mold, we will have an official scrubbing soap. Okay. All right. So inside that description box, guys, you will find a recipe. Most of my cold process and high process recipes are between $5 and $8. Normally, I try to keep them at $5. So I just went ahead and added a little bit of castor oil to my soap, because I remember I didn't add it. So I went and added it. We don't use a lot of castor oil because it will make your soap kind of sticky. So if you ever have a recipe that's really high in castor oil, I want you to think twice about it, because it's a very thick, sticky kind of oil. Okay, so that trace right there, as you can see, that was a little bit too thick. So if you could bring yours to a little less of a thick trace, yeah, it'll work out. All right, so this is a very beginner friendly recipe, guys. Very, very beginner friendly. And also when it came down to the fragrances, I listed everything you guys need in the Patreon. I only really shop a few places for my soap fragrances, because everybody that sell fragrance does not have soap compatible fragrance. Okay, that means that it'll accelerate, it'll tear your soap up, it'll seize on you, all kinds of stuff. So good thing about me is I know how to make cold and hot process. So that's what saved me. So if a soap act crazy on me, I'm just going to put it in my crock pot. All right. So I'm just smoothing everything out. And remember, guys, it's so easy to clean up a cold process mess. You don't really have to do too much. So I'm just smoothing all that out. And then when I finish with all that and it's solidified, I'm going to put these molds in some water and keep it moving, honey. All right. So that's it. Only thing next we're going to do is we're going to do a lather / exfoliation test, and that is coming up. And I will see you guys again for the next video. Hit the notification bell. All right. Okay, so for the testing part, as you can see, guys, all of this is that pumice. It looks really good, nice and gritty. And it's all throughout the bar. You don't have to worry about, just not having it throughout the bar. And also, I'm showing you guys how it lather up as well. But that right there is the pumice. So it does two things. It lathers, and it has a very nice exfoliation for the hands. And it don't leave your hands dried out. It look amazing, okay? And I really believe that the mechanics will love your soap, because it's so much better than that orange soap. You see that lather? Orange soap don't do that, boo. Orange soap don't do that. All right. Okay, guys. I hope you love this video. Go ahead, like, thumb up, subscribe. See you again.